Hey, did you know that NFTs are actually not new and they already exist in the market for a few years? Let's talk about the NFT history and why do we need NFTs and NFT also history in the context of digital art. So, digital art wasn't recognized as real art for many years. Painting and sculptures and installations were the real art, while digital art was kind of seen as a second-tier art. However, digital artists also spend a lot of time building their art and perfecting their skills, just like any other classical artist. For many years, digital art and digital artists were not paid the fair share for their work. Digital artists were more like freelancers doing like different gigs and jumping from gig to gig, and always had a hard time making more money from their digital art and be rewarded fairly. The reason why it's so hard to make digital art unique is once digital art is created, it's very easy to be copied and to copy thousands of times across the internet. And it's very hard to track those copies and distinguish which one was the original. In classical painting, I know that although there are some thousands of photos of Salvador Dali, Persistence of Memory, although there are thousands of copies of Salvador Dali, Persistence of Memory all over the internet, I know that the original is somewhere in a museum. In this case, it's in the MoMA in New York. And the collectibles art market has grown massively over the last century, with global estimates reaching hundreds of millions of dollars. Crypto collectibles came into existence in the early days of Bitcoin with the creation of colored coins. Colored coins were kind of small denominations of Bitcoin, and they were used to represent different assets on the blockchain, like with some metadata. And colored coins would store some metadata related to the asset on the blockchain. And although the project didn't gain much popularity, it was a precursor of the NFT idea. The crypto community began to recognize the potential of storing digital assets into the blockchain. And in 2014, a peer-to-peer financial platform called Counterparty was created on the top of the Bitcoin blockchain, and it was basically laying down the foundations for modern NFTs. In 2016, we started to have community-led NFTs called Rare Pepe. We have some weird stuff, but basically this was a community-led NFTs, but didn't gain like that much popularity until the term NFT was finally coined with the creation of the ERC-721 token standard in the Ethereum blockchain. The ERC-721 allowed the creation of projects like CryptoKitties. CryptoKitties which hit mainstream in late 2017. And CryptoKitties is basically a game that allows players to collect, breed, exchange, and create virtual cute cats. And it's using the ERC-721 NFT standard. And it was very well known for the congestion of the Ethereum blockchain. Alongside with CryptoKitties, there are other similar projects, very well-known projects like CryptoPunks, and currently CryptoPunks are also very valuable. NFTs, has already stands for non-fungible token, and it's a whole new world. And they are bringing like really new business models. For example, why is this CryptoKitty here worth $1 million? Because it's a unique piece of art. It's a unique token, and many other NFTs have a big demand in the market, increasing their value. NFTs token have fungibility, meaning that each token is unique and irreplaceable. They are generally using the Ethereum ERC-721 standard, which we are going to see in more detail. And the standard was introduced to the blockchain network, to the Ethereum blockchain network, in late 2017. Now, even Christie's is entering the NFT market, and we doing NFT-based auctions, and they made this auction in February 2021, where they auctioned people art for $69 million. An NFT represents the ownership of an item, and it can be eventually copy-paste the image to my computer, but the ownership of that item will be always linked to someone in the Ethereum blockchain in an immutable way. So as I said, the artist people sold the collection first in late 2020 for $3.5 million in the Nifty Gateway. And then later, in February 2021, sold Christie's auction for $69 million. And now I'm very happy to see that artists are finally being, digital artists are finally being paid their share part, their fair share part for the work that they do. So let's continue to unblock what are NFTs.